Back in 2019, a Japanese band named Tsuyu actually caught everyone off guard with their success. They had everything that people that love Japanese music wanted. They had the super depressing lyrics with the way more upbeat drums and guitars. They had a lot of guitar solos as well, and they were just very charismatic. They had everything to be on the same level as other famous Japanese artists like Yorushika, Eve, Minami, and I actually remember that they got super famous in Osu as well. You know, the rhythm game? I used to be really addicted to it, and everyone used to play Tsuyu songs. Everyone, every single lobby had so many Tsuyu songs. There was an also YouTuber named Binfi that really loved Tsuyu, and he also really loved Kira Kira Days for some reason. Man, those were the golden days of Osu, to be honest. At least to me. I'm kind of a new gen, but whatever. My point is that Tsuyu had a pretty big community, not only in Japan, but overseas as well. Sadly, the band had a pretty rough end, with one of the members trying to murder a teenager. And in this video, we will talk about not only the band's story, but also how a really promising band came to a really depressing ending. Tsuyu was founded by a guy named Pusu. He used to be a Vocaloid producer and then later became the main guitarist and composer of the band. Tsuyu itself was essentially his own project. He was the main creative force behind everything. And he was also the one that found and contacted the other members, those being Rei, which was the vocalist, and Omotatsu, which became their main illustrator. He also called the animator Ajun, which was someone he had already worked with in previous projects. Funnily enough, Pusu actually found most of them on Twitter. He was actually just trying to find members, and he was scrolling Twitter and he sent a DM, and that was it. If you listen to Japanese music in general, you probably have noticed that they usually have really depressing lyrics, but even though they are really depressing, they are also pretty relatable. And Pusu excelled at that. His lyrics were indeed super sad, but they knew how to capture a certain feeling of depression. Sonically, Tsuyu was really upbeat and upfront. Rei's vocals were amazing, but the actual charm in Tsuyu, at least to me, was how well they managed to capture those inner struggles, those very personal, deep issues that we all will go through sometime. Pusu named his project Tsuyu because they were formed in June, which is rainy season in Japan, and that rainy season is called Tsuyu. And not only that, but since it was rainy season when they made their first debut, Pusu had also said that rain conveys sadness and tears, which would fit perfectly with the concept that they were going with. Their first song was named It's Raining After All. The song was posted on the 12th of June in 2019, and that was the official start of Tsuyu as a project for the public. It's Raining After All was probably the best first song they could do. It showcased everything the band would go for. Their entire aesthetics, the type of content they would say on their lyrics, the amazing guitar work, the amazing vocals, and unsurprisingly, the song caught quite a lot of attention pretty early. If I remember correctly, the song had 500,000 views in a month or so. It was pretty amazing to see. And just for context, nowadays the song sits at 16 million views on YouTube. To keep things going, they released 2 more new songs, which didn't perform as well at the time, but still kept the motion going. And then some months later, they released Compared Child, which is to this day their most famous song. Like the title of the track says, it talks about comparison and inferiority complex, which is something that everyone will go through at some point in their lives. It could be from school, could be from college, could be from work, could be from relationships, anything. I think it's pretty ingrained in what makes a human to compare ourselves with each other and feel like we're never enough. And I would say that social media made this an even bigger problem, because nowadays you open Instagram or Twitter and you see X famous person having the perfect life, having a shit ton of money. You see some random streamer flexing like the fact that they have God knows how many watches, and then you just see yourself working a 9 to 5. It's depressing. It's actually pretty depressing stuff. And that's exactly why this song made so much success. It talks about something so raw, something that anyone can understand, and it doesn't even matter how old you are, which is pretty fucking sad. Be it your money, be it your physical appearance, be it your talents, your free time, how happy you are, how many followers you have. Even I'm to blame for this, because I have this YouTube channel that barely has any subscribers, and sometimes I do think I wanted to be a bit more famous, but that's just not how life works. And it sucks. There's not even much to say. I will keep working a 9 to 5 while X streamer shits money like it's nothing. It is pretty tiring to open up Twitter and see someone like Drake, for example, just gamble away 2 million out of nowhere, just gamble away and lose everything. It's unfair. Really unfair. Comparison is a plague that will get any of us if we're not careful. And Tsuyu perfectly encapsulated all of those feelings in a single song. That depression that comes from the tiredness of comparing yourself. There's probably no other song that I know of that perfectly encapsulates it like Compared Child. After a while, Tsuyu said that Compared Child was one of the easiest songs that he ever wrote, because it was based around his own experiences. And that actually applies to pretty much every Tsuyu song, because every single song of Tsuyu is really dark in a lot of different ways. The lyrics had really sensitive topics like self-harm, isolation, substance abuse, and straight up suicidal ideation. And sadly, all of those topics are also a pretty big spoiler on how things would end for Tsuyu, but that's for later in the video. The boost that Compared Child gave to the band was essential for their success. Shortly after the song blew up, they announced their first album and their first solo concert. And on the 19th of February 2020, they released their first album, also being called It's Raining After All. Since Tsuyu was the main composer for everything in Tsuyu, the album was really cohesive. You could play any song on the album and you would know it's Tsuyu, which is amazing for any artist. To be fair, sometimes I did think that it was a bit repetitive sounding, but that's just my personal opinion, and it really doesn't take any merit from the album itself. Something that was pretty cool was that songs mentioned each other in the album. As an example, the song Even Tears Withered mentions Compared Child, not only lyrically but also sonically. The song actually sounds like Compared Child for a while, which is pretty amazing. Like, that's pretty cool. After the album had released and gained quite a lot of traction, Tsuyu received a DM from Nabuna, which is the producer of Yorushika. Later in a concert, Tsuyu said that it was one of the most rewarding moments he had in his life, because he and Nabuna started making music way back in the day as Vocaloid producers, but Nabuna made Yorushika back in 2017 and quickly gained mainstream attention. So now both of them were big names in the industry, which was probably a really big moment for Tsuyu. Just a single week after the album release, Tsuyu released another song called Perhaps I'll Be Able to Become the Sun. And this song was supposed to showcase their new member, Miro, which was now their pianist. Then their first concert finally happened. It happened in a small venue, but it was an absolute success. It was sold out and people loved it. Long story short, Tsuyu kept releasing songs, Tsuyu kept composing, and then on their third live concert, Tsuyu actually gave a speech talking about Tsuyu in general, and it's probably one of the weirdest videos to see after learning everything that he did. That third concert happened in the 30th of July in 2021, and Tsuyu sounded passionate about everything that he did. He told his story with Nabuna, he talked about how he met the band members, talked about how he composes, everything. He was undoubtedly a very talented person. Fast forward to 2023, Tsuyu is now huge. They released their third full album, which was actually their first under a major label. They had played pretty much every big festival in Japan alongside gigantic artists in the industry. They played with rising artists like Yoasobi, Ado. They even played in a festival where Kendrick Lamar played as well, which is one of the facts for sure. And then unexpectedly, in November, Pusu announced that Tsuyu was approaching its end. They would do their last tour together and then that was it. And to make things worse, he did not talk with Rei or Miro at all. He just decided that Tsuyu would end. And since he was the main creative force behind it, there was not much anyone could do, even though Tsuyu at this point was not just a single dude's project. Tsuyu was actually a small company with literal employees. But once again, Tsuyu was Pusu's project, and it will always be, so he could do whatever he wanted. Throughout the tour, Rei was not doing very well. She developed laryngitis and she was coughing up blood. She did manage to recover for some concerts, but they also had to cancel some of them just so she could be in shape to sing without completely ruining her own health. And that leads us to the 4th of February 2024, the last concert that they would ever perform. It was a complete success. At that point, people had already made peace with the fact that Tsuyu would end, so the fans just tried their best to pour their hearts out. Every member of the band played their best, sang their bests, because they also knew it was the end. Not only for them, but they also knew what it would mean for the fans. No more concerts, no more new songs, nothing. After the concert's end, Pusu came back on stage and actually revealed that Tsuyu would not disband that day. He said that signing a contract with a major label made him feel stuck. He realized that money would pour in even if he didn't work hard, even if he didn't pour his soul into his lyrics. And then he did all of this just to get some excitement again. And then in April, they released a new song called It's Raining Nevertheless, which was a clear callback to their first song, It's Raining After All. And as ironic as it might sound, the band started with rain and ended with rain, because It's Raining Nevertheless was actually their last song ever. On May 31st of 2024, Pusu gets arrested. He tried to murder a teenage girl of which he was dating. Mind you that he was 30 at the time. The girl's age was never released, but they did confirm that she was a minor. He stabbed the girl's chest with a kitchen knife inside the apartment that they both lived in. The girl was immediately sent to the hospital and Pusu got arrested. Later he said that he wanted to kill her and try to commit suicide later, and that he only stabbed her once, on the left side of her chest. Not only the fans but the members of the band itself got caught off guard, and they immediately sent their prayers to the victim. They said their apologies, and shortly after the news got out, about a month or so, they announced that Tsuyu would be officially done. They just couldn't do it after all of that. To make things even worse, Pusu never got prosecuted for what he did. He only got sent to a hospital for a while because of his mental conditions, but he never got any jail time for the actual attempted murder. Later in September, Pusu came back and he posted a letter that his ex-girlfriend sent to him. And it's the most depressing thing I have ever read. She was essentially saying that she still loves him, that she forgives him, that she misses him, even after all that he did to her. And even though it's really anticlimactic, that's kind of it. Pusu never got any jail time. He got out of Tsuyu. Tsuyu disbanded and will never release anything ever again. And he's just out there, posting his songs again on Twitter like nothing ever happened. That shit just broke my heart, man. It's just so depressing. And that's the story of Tsuyu. A band that was super promising, that had amazing musicians, amazing artwork. They had quite a big international community. And then the band's legacy just got tainted by literal attempted murder. He never got sent to prison. He's just out there posting like nothing ever happened.